We generated around 560 plus million impressions organically. Those
creating property cards for the first time for people owning houses in the rural areas.
We have a patent on a bits technology, which...
But we were really guided by what we wanted it to be.
In terms of the content consumption pattern has changed.
Very competitive, very crowded.
The objective is basically to democratize cancer care.
I see a very bright future for retail industry.
Technology now allows us to scale up.
We also want to help patients become more compliant.
If I look at the custom solutions market, it's almost about $1,500 billion.
Your customers will not continue to be with you if you don't change gear.
We had adopted digitalization much earlier.
Within a very short span of time, we are the number one operator in the whole of South India.
If you are reaching out to a lakh people today, you would be reaching out to an entire globe tomorrow.
We got those two brands and then immediately got into a few of the LFRS and there was no looking back.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the 28th episode of Ascent Talks. My name is Ajit Panikar, and I'm an Ascent member for almost a decade, and I lead Nova, an air conditioning company, and Pure Blue, a tech-enabled startup in the air conditioning domain. And as usual, my co-host for the show is Aleem. How are you doing, Aleem?
I'm fantastic, Ajit, and good morning to everyone. My name is Aleem Merchant, and I run an advertising and marketing company called Synapse, and I welcome you all to the show.
Awesome. To all of you who are joining us for the first time, it is just to give you a little run on Ascent. Ascent is a not-for-profit expression of Harsh Mariwala, Chairman Marico Limited, and his passion to identify high-potential, growth-stage entrepreneurs and enable them to grow their enterprise and enrich their entrepreneurial journey. Launched in 2012, Ascent today empowers more than 850 entrepreneurs across India. Ascent is designed as a unique, powerful, peer-to-peer platform that leverages the power of the collective through self-facilitated groups called trust groups, which enables entrepreneurs to share and exchange experiences, ideas, insights, and create a healthy ecosystem to learn from each other. Today's event, a weekly event, Ascent Talks, showcases Ascent members and their interesting entrepreneurial journeys. So, Alim, let's welcome our guest today.
Absolutely. So, welcoming Kumar, and Kumar is the partner and co-founder of RheinBrucke IT Consulting. He heads delivery, operations, products, services, and channel marketing. He's also the head of RheinBrucke Academy, which provides solutions in ERP, portals, and collaborations, and product development in global delivery models for the mid-market segment focused on the EMEA region. He also heads the emerging technologies, ERPs, IoT services at Defiance Technologies, and he takes care of P&L ownership. He takes care of the SAP, Epicor, MS Dynamics, Mobility, and other domains. So welcome, Kumar, and welcome to the show, and happy to have you here.
Thank you, and thanks a lot for having me on the show, Ajit and Aleem. Very nice to be here. This has been a great series of sessions. I thoroughly enjoyed watching them. So I'm very glad that I'm here today. And good morning to everybody who's dialed in.
Thank you, Kumar. Kumar, just off the bat, can you tell us a little more about RheinBrucke? Can you tell us what you do? And can you tell us also about the USP of the business? And more importantly, can you tell us about what you're excited about most, MeRLIN?
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for the question, Aleem. RheinBrucke is essentially RheinBridge. We connect people and technology, right? Especially in the mid-market segment, we are faced with this massive challenge most often that we want to use technology to grow our business, but we don't know where to start. We don't know how to do. So there's this huge gap between what business wants to do versus the ability to leverage technology to achieve business, whether it is higher productivity or better profitability or achieving growth using technology. In all of these, there is this little bit of a disconnect between what business users want versus IT guys coming and talking a lot of jargon and, essentially confusing the hell out of everyone. Basically, that's what happens. So what we're trying to do is we are trying to make technology addressable in business terms, addressing markets where, for example, non-English speaking market companies, companies which are traditional manufacturing houses, all of these, there is this bridge. So also when we talk about Europe and India, we are bridging, then connecting East and West. All of this, the essential bottom line is, if you go digital, your businesses will either achieve higher efficiency, you can do more with less, you can actually use frugal engineering to achieve growth, profitability, or higher productivity of man and machine. This is essentially what we're trying to achieve. We are fairly focused around manufacturing as an industry vertical. Having said that, we have done a lot of projects outside, but usually it is by word of mouth. But however, we try to be focused in what we are doing, and that led us to the next part of the journey. When we started off with digital transformation, we also saw this big white space that strategic sourcing and advanced procurement technology was not really accessible. There are few players in the world, but the ones who offer a holistic solution like us are phenomenally expensive. So mid to large company would find them more or less out of reach or absolutely inaccessible. So we are trying to democratize an advanced sourcing and buying experience and make it accessible to mid-sized companies, because there is the undeniable truth that sourcing is global now. You cannot really source everything locally, especially in a growing economy like say India, or even for the matter Western world embarked on this journey maybe 40 years ago. But I think a lot of the Indian manufacturers are also realizing the same point. You will be sourcing globally whether you like it or not, and if you do that, you need the platform, you need a solution which can enable this and fast track it. So that's how about 3.5-4 years ago the MeRLIN journey started. And we started with an anchor customer who's a tier 1 auto supplier from Detroit, and now we are scaling it up. We got lots and lots of, we were fortunate to get mentored by lots and lots of extremely deeply experienced sourcing professionals in direct material sourcing, which is a very complex field. And in the last 1 year, we have got recognized twice. Gartner has mentioned us in 2 different reports. One specifically saying for manufacturing companies, even though it's a new product, it's a good solution. And e-sourcing applications, it's a product to note. So that's where we are today. We have started to push the product all over the market, and the journey is kind of just started for us from the product perspective.
Boss, I'll tell you one thing very clearly, Kumar. It sounds damn cool, man. It sounds Greek and Latin to me. Half of it just went straight up my head, man. Seriously, man.
If it is going over the head, then I'm not doing my job properly, because I am supposed to be the evangelist.
No. What I was trying to tell my viewers is that, listen, what you should have picked up was that you need to digitize, you need IT, you need to increase productivity to bring down cost, and everything else you didn't understand it's good, then you need to call him straight. That's how it works.
Yeah, please do. Absolutely, yeah, spot on.
And he throws those 5-6 good words, so you come to know he's expensive also.
We are there for the mid market, so I'm sure mid market is always looking for value for money. So
no, but he also made it very clear that his positioning is very clear. The consulting space is really expensive, and I can completely relate to it. Most of us who have run MSMEs, who run much smaller organizations, we actually dread even going to these firms, because they can just, you just feel, dude, I can't even afford you guys anywhere close by, while I still need those services. But Kumar, before we get to that, I also want to know from you, you are a working professional, including in large items, one of them, even Satyams and many other well-known companies. Where did this entrepreneurial shift come in? Yeah? How did that happen?
I was, I would say, maybe I had really good mentors all along, and they always gave me a lot of independence. And even when I was in London, I was kind of swimming with the sharks, basically, because when I first landed up there, outsourcing to India was very, very new. And there were like 2-3 of us, and we had some kind of hilarious instances also. You walk into a Tesco, and then the old lady smiles, "Good morning, how are you guys?" This, that, and announcer says, "Which restaurant are you a cook at?" So that was the awareness of Indian IT. I'm talking about 90s. I learned to operate fairly independently, and I really started enjoying that. And when I was managing a business in other companies also, I was fortunate to be given lots and lots of independence. So I thought, if I can run a P&L independently for someone else, then why can't I do it for myself? This thought was always bubbling in my mind for almost preceding 6-7 years before I finally took the plunge. And it was exciting, yes, but nobody told me before that you're going to pay salaries every end of every month. Someone forgot to tell me that part. But other than that, it's been great fun.
So that's so common, Everyone who's been working at the end of the month waits for his salary to come. Moment you get into business, you're only worried through the entire month, how do I handle the last day of the month?
Exactly.
And all salaries get paid on time. But a quick question before I get to Ali. Kumar, how big is this whole consulting space? What are the kind of opportunities that's there in the space that you clearly focused, in the smaller segments? So what's the opportunities like here?
It's actually vast. Okay, if I look at a broad ERP plus enterprise solution space, it is very, very vast. It'll be like hundreds of billions of dollars, maybe 250 billion or 300 billion dollars. But if we narrow it down to, say, a very specific segment like strategic sourcing and procurement, it will still be a very, very sizable number, like $6-7 billion already. And it's growing faster than everybody else because, unfortunately, of COVID. Digitization of sourcing has become an imperative for at least mid to large companies. So it's growing at 12 to 13% year on year. So it's rapidly going to become a $10-12 billion industry, maybe within the next 2 to 3 years. So that's the kind of headroom which is there for growth. And I mean, this is the message not just for us, but for anybody who is venturing into this space.
Very interesting.
So, Kumar, what is it that you do differently? I mean, we get it. But now, can you tell us what is it that you do differently? Why should a mid-sized company look at you and not look at one of your competitors? And what is it that, are the clear advantages that you offer?
Our key differentiator always has been that we are more business-centric and not the typical, techie jargon-oriented IT company. So, as a matter of fact, 50% of our people are actually functional guys, not technical guys. So they could be chartered accountant, they could be production planning engineers, they could be manufacturing guys, they could be supply chain guys or CRM guys. They are guys who have come from a functional background of working hands-on in that particular area. And when we go and talk to somebody in finance, it would be someone who's either from a chartered accountancy background or ICW background or something like that on our side as well. That is essentially, we are not trying to go there and present ourselves as a technology company, but we are a company which is addressing business problems. Again, another key thing is business problems in the local context. So if you go to Germany, we would probably have German functional guys talking to the German customer. And if you're in Middle East, there would be people who are in the Middle East for many, many years, who have worked locally, and they understand how business works there, how finance works there, so on and so forth. That is how we initiate any conversation, and that is how we would like to keep it as well, because it demystifies technology to a great extent, makes it accessible, and it makes it easier also and more comfortable for them to articulate and interact with us. As a result, there are fewer disconnects when eventually a solution is conceptualized. What happens otherwise is that you ask for a scooter, and eventually you got some wheelbarrow or something like that. I know we are trying at least, a scooter should look at least have two wheels, if not anything else. That's a reasonable.
Kumar, I'll tell you what. Let's put that what you just said, to good use. I mean, free consulting. We are entrepreneurs. We can't miss an opportunity, right? So we need some free consulting. So tell me something. Every MSME at one point is thinking whether ERP is important for me. Should I actually put it in? So what are the factors that I should look into? And you always written and spoken about ROI for ERP. Why don't you just actually touch on these 2 points as to, when is it that I should look, or should I look at ERP, or there are other standalone SaaS platforms available which I connect through APIs, or what is an ROI? How do you calculate an ROI? Let's share this information. I thought that was a very interesting space that you were talking about.
Absolutely, and this is like a perpetual debate, right? I'll throw a third card on the table. Is that should I build my own solutions?
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
can I hire a bunch of guys and get them something very specific for me? So you have SaaS, you have ERP, which is a unified platform to bring all your data together, or a bunch of homegrown solutions which may or may not talk to each other. Yes, there are these multiple things, and we face this especially a lot more in two extreme situations. One is at the MSME segment, and other is at very large enterprises where you have lots and lots of people, who are getting up in the morning to say, okay, what am I going to invent today? So these are the two extremes that I see all the time. Definitely, I would say ERP ROI is the most important question to ask yourself before talking to even the first supplier, or even forget about the supplier. You may even, before a supplier, you may bring in someone to consult and look at your business process and say whether this can be digitized smoothly or there'll be a lot of hiccups in the journey, right? But before all that, you should look at what's in it for me. That clarity has got to be there. Otherwise, even one day before going live, and maybe even after going live, you will have a whole bunch of stakeholders across the organization. Why are we doing this? What is the purpose? Iska kuch hone wala hai kya? Or we are going to be, just inventing work for ourselves. This is so I'm glad that you asked this, because this is a very, very crucial question. Each one of us should ask. Even if I were to implement ERP, say for myself once again, I would definitely ask this question. There are some 3-4 important points that you should tick off, right? First and foremost, of course, is it should help me run my business more smoothly than it is running today, right? Either, for example, in our Ascent community itself, we have a whole bunch of entrepreneurs who are doing varied businesses, right? The context may be different, but the underlying problems are fairly straightforward, right? I could have a cash flow issue. I could have a sales CRM issue. I could have customers with whom I want more proximity, more visibility. I could have a production issue in my shop floor. I could have inventory management issues. Can I reduce my inventory? Can I reduce how many days of inventory I need to hold? Can I utilize my existing stock more easily? Can I get it moved out of my warehouse faster? My finished goods, can I consume them more appropriately? Do I understand what the market wants? Can I do my demand forecasting better? All of these questions are business questions. None of them are technology questions. And the technology, yes, it is technological eventually, but upfront, if it is not helping your business run better, either in terms of production, in terms of sales, in terms of financial management, in terms of reducing your overheads, then you are actually not asking the right questions before even starting your ERP journey. So if I'm going to invest 100 rupees in an ERP, what am I going to get? Yes, I will not get back 120 rupees in 2 months or so. That is understandable. I think everybody understands this. Say, for example, in a shop floor, if you're buying a new machine worth 1 crore rupees, you understand instinctively, for how many months I will need to run this machine to break even. But software is intangible, so that's why this question needs to be explained a little better. And you need to sit with the business heads and ask each of them, what are you expecting from if we go with an ERP, what is the output you are expecting? So we have Ascent members who are manufacturers, who may want to understand how we are going to do better production management, how we are going to do, say, product configuration, or somebody is doing make to order or make to stock. Can we actually configure products better so that there is less wastage, there is faster production, and turnaround times are better from the point that a sales guy brings in an order to when I can move it out from my factory? Can I reduce this life cycle? When I raise an invoice to a customer, can I follow through more efficiently and collect quicker? When I'm finalizing the books for the year, is all the information already available in one single source of truth so that I can finally close my books faster, maybe a few months faster than I used to do traditionally by using khatas or whatever, or tally? There are various ways of doing things, but if you can't actually do it better, then maybe it's not the right time for you to start a ERP journey. Maybe you need to revisit that. I would say it should always be a business question and not a technology question. Oh, somebody is doing, so I do it, should not be, because especially MSMEs, every penny is valuable, right? So if you're putting that money in, you need to ask yourself this return on investment question and then embark on the journey. I would say it will help a lot, especially to convince all the varied people who are going to eventually be participating in this project, whether it's finance or production. And they'll say, hey, I have customers to manage, I have books to keep, I have production schedules to meet. You need to pull them out and get them involved in this, right? Because finally they have to sign off each individual business process, and if they are not convinced, they will be half-hearted at best, and the project will be, it becomes a negative feedback loop, and it goes just down and down.
So listening to Kumar, Alim, I have a question for you. It's a quiz question. Our man is into IT consulting, and he has to give full-on gyan, which he gets paid for. So here's the question. How many hours do you think our man is talking in a day at work? How many hours do you think he must be having to talk? Look at the way he takes off, man. It's just like non-stop, too good. And he's like, this is what I do every day, day in and day out. That must be one hell of a task, right, Kumar? I mean, actually being consistent. I mean, just you're sharing that knowledge and talking to, and I guess that's not an easy task by itself.
And I'm actually not even in sales, okay? So, you should probably then have a conversation with the sales guys.
I think every entrepreneur is a salesman.
It's probably way too many years spent behind the wheel. So that's more of what it is, I think.
So Kumar, I mean, I want to ask you something. Okay, obviously you said like convincing people is one big part of what was the journey in this. What are the challenges you faced as an entrepreneur in setting up this business? And I just want to know from a very close perspective that what is it that you faced in your initial days and even today as challenges that you or hurdles you feel in this business?
I think the biggest challenge overall is that we are a solution provider for mid-market. And for a lot of the time, the mid-market is very scared and skeptical of, I think already Ajit has used the word multiple times, consultant, but we keep saying, hey, we are not consultants, we are solution providers. We are not giving gyan, right? We have a solution which addresses specific business problems. The convincing people and getting them on the discussion table has been consistent. We have biggest challenge because we are not a big brand. So creating the brand from scratch and getting awareness and making people understand that we are actually here to add value and not just to give some gyan and walk away. Because end of the day, there's going to be something with them other than what we spoke. They're going to have a solution which will last for many years, and they'll be using it, enhancing it, and probably most customers end up expanding and putting in more users, adding more plants or locations to it eventually. So that has been our difficulty. And of course, the most standard challenge for most companies of our size is cash flow. Cash flow has always been, because we are self-funded. We never sought any funding till now. Especially when we started developing the product, it was all through the revenue generated from the services and implementation business. We funded the development of the product, it's not a small product; it's a large enterprise product. So that was pretty tough. And of course, we had these 2-3 major things that happened in between. We had Chennai floods at the very early stage. Unfortunately, our office and our server rooms were right next to the river. So everything, we had 13 feet of water inside the office. So we lost everything, all infrastructure, and including all our servers. Luckily, we were already on the cloud 10 years ago. So 98% of the data could be saved, and we just lost like 3-4 days of work because there was a public holiday in between. Otherwise, we were up and running after like 15-20 days. Recently, COVID and immediately followed by the Ukraine war hit us very, very badly. Because we are Europe-centric company, right? We are headquartered in Netherlands, and our core constituency is Germanic region. We have people in Germany, and we focus on that. And we in fact had employees in Ukraine as well, and that hit us. And we had huge number of customers, even very, very large customers. We putting off projects, saying that, oh, let's see what happens with the war, and we don't want to unnecessarily commit funds and all that. So just when our product was taking off, we had a lot of people who were almost at like commercial negotiation phase, putting things off by, let's talk after 6 months, let's talk after 10 months, and so on. So this has been I would say immediate stuff that I've been grappling with over the last few months.
And Kumar, you've been an Ascent member. You've been an Ascent member for a while. You're also part of the GC, I know. So how's that been? How's your Ascent journey been? And what's your
I think absolutely fabulous, I would say. Especially I don't think I would have survived COVID and come out as an entrepreneur if not for Ascent. I have managed to retain my sanity, so I must really thank Ascent for that. It really, really has helped me in 2 ways. Right, one was I realized I was not alone with all the challenges I was facing, especially last 3 years. And second was there's so much learning from other people. I think peer-to-peer learning is most effective because it's experiential, and you don't get that from any coach or any guru or any books. A lot of us read a lot of books, etc., but practical hands-on knowledge, even talking with you guys, every instance is fabulous. It really helps me to become a better person. I think becoming a better entrepreneur is secondary. I think becoming a better person, being able to handle myself better, learn from like-minded people, all of it has been a really, really helpful experience for me. And now I also see a lot of younger blood also coming into Ascent. It's a different kind of a learning because they are into a lot of other things, and we have all these focus groups talking about marketing, about health and fitness, etc. That's the third level of learning, which is so it's constantly enriching me and my life, and I think it rubs on to others around. So I love the entire journey and the experience. I'm so glad that I became an Ascent member.
Kumar, tell us a little about yourself here. Forget about the business and your journey and everything. About your family, your hobbies. Tell us about a little about that.
So I'm like a typical kind of Indian family, I would say, cliche almost in the West, right? I'm an engineer. My wife is a doctor. She's a pediatrician, and both my kids are engineers. Like your daughter's finished, and she's working now for the last 10
I mean,
months.
I guess everyone realized that when they know that our man is from Chennai. He's from South India.
So I used to, when I was living abroad, this was the question which used to get thrown at me all the time, and I used to, yes, I could be in The Simpsons, and you wouldn't notice the difference. So that's what it is. So absolutely true. That's what it is. and in terms of what I like to do, I think reading is the first passion. I really love reading. I read every day, even if it gets very late in the night. That's what helps me to switch off from my work life and kind of wind down for the day. So I read every day consistently. Recently, post COVID, I have become very, very interested in fitness. So it's not very intense kind of fitness that I see some of the other guys they are into, but yoga and walking, etc. I used to travel a lot, both for work as well as for pleasure. COVID put a break on that, so I've just started kind of restarted the travel part of it. And I've worked across the world. I've had teams in all the continents and except Antarctica, and been there. Lots of non-English speaking team members, different nationalities. So really, I would say I was blessed with this experience of multicultural work life.
But Kumar, we've done to our 30 minutes, but it's been fascinating listening to you. We didn't realize that 30 minutes, but
Thank you.
it was just superb listening to you. Nice to get that space. And I must tell, I've read a lot of his blogs from a business perspective on that ROI for ERP, on what are the factors that you need to look. Very interesting stuff. So if you are somebody who believe in what he just must follow him and read about it. It's pretty interesting stuff. And thank you for putting out that content out there, Kumar. Thank you so much. And it was a pleasure to have you on our show today. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Ajit. Thanks, Alim. Great pleasure.
Thanks a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Soon.
Hey, Alim, you know what he said? He said, I don't do intensive exercise. I think why he made that clear, because of all that big medals that you put behind. A man got intimidated, but yeah, he's got all these medals hanging around. So he made it very clear. I don't do any intense stuff. Okay, I'm from Chennai. Please remember that.
Actually, I'm going to put bot from Chor Bazaar over here very soon.
Awesome, guys. All right, so we're done with our 30 minutes with another interesting show. So for any of you guys who are watching us, do share it with another entrepreneur. It's a great conversation starter. Share these videos, at least the videos that you like, share it with other entrepreneurs. But if you're growth ready and you really feel like you want to be part of the India story and want help, like how Kumar was talking about, learning from other entrepreneurs, get to ascentfoundation.in, make an application. And the Ascent team will get in touch with you. And if you're truly growth ready, we'll be happy to have you as an Ascent member. So thank you very much. Thanks. We're going to see you next Friday again with another interesting story of another Ascent member. Write to us. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to have you with us today.
Have a great week ahead.
See you guys. Bye, Ali. Bye-bye.